This is a game where the idea is, through the metaphor of a turn-based strategy card game, you have to solve issues like global warming and the death of the planet and the human race, starting with 20th century industry. Now we're going to do a standard game because I'm trying to keep things casual. Oh, it doesn't like running, it seems. Alright, here we go. So as you can see over here, we have 20th century industry. We start with this card, and it's going to give us 20 carbon, 20 pollution every 40-second cycle. These arrows here will change the cycle of this sector. Now, we need this to run for a bit for us to get the resources to start our science and our people sectors. So I'm going to start science because I usually start with science. And you see our science sector has 0 emissions because the only card we have in science has 0 emissions. Now I'm going to start the people card. They have 1 emission. Which means I'm still in a position where I have net positive emissions. That's not good. So what I'm going to do is use my science funding card to research cleaner emissions. With emissions cleaning, we can go one step further and research carbon capture. So what happened there was, you see these little triangles with the card symbol above them? Every time our world pollution gets up to one of these, we get a massive event. There's also random chances for smaller events as we go. 100-year floods. We solve this, we get a free card in our ecosystem sector. If we don't pay, we're going to get new catastrophe cards indefinitely until it expires. If it expires, we're going to lose 1 resource and 3 population. So I'm going to mitigate this and get a free card in the ecosystem sector. Now, as you see, our science sector is pretty full, so I'm going to spend some resources to expand our science sector. And this is all a big metaphor for things we could do in the real world to mitigate all of our, diving head first into the end of the human civilization. Now over here, usually I would research renewables, but as of Trump signing a big beautiful bill, renewables are now more expensive in America than coal power because they are getting taxed to hell unless they can prove that every part of their production is American made, as well as removing any credits towards clean energy initiatives, save for geothermal, hydropower, nuclear. However, companies that invest in those are going to get taxed harsher. So even then, our clean energy opportunities are going to be punished in the US thanks to the big beautiful bill. So instead, though, I'm going to do what Mr. Trump wants me to do and research fossil power. Now, of course, that's going to put a lot of strain on emissions, but the industry sector can't do anything about it. I'm actually speed up this research so I can get my funding back. I'm going to have to research the ecosystem sector, and I'm going to just go straight into expanding this. slow things down. See, this will put me in negative emissions right away, but there's stronger sources of negative emissions down this tree. Ooh, got a big one. This one's gonna suck if we don't mitigate it early. This one's cheap right now. This one, if I don't take care of this, it leads me to a card that is an end of the world scenario, which is way more expensive, which is why I'm gonna solve it right now. As you can see, every time this card cycles, I'm getting more emissions. Okay, now I have a blank slate. That doesn't mean anything, because things are going to get worse. So I'm going to research agroecology. Pollution regulation. That's a life-saving card. Ooh, lifestyle changes is a card we could do some fun things with. We can create a circular economy. But, you know, as we are and as we do, we aren't really doing that. Now, the government might not be helping us with loss and damage aid, but that is still something that as people we can do. Ooh. Pollinators, like bees, are going extinct now. So let's mitigate that and get my favorite card of the game, Robo-Bees. Now, we are still in positive emissions, which is not good. I'm going to research aquaponics, because the ecosystems sector, if you have not noticed, also gives us money, for lack of a better term. I know they call it something else. So if I can get ecosystems tab running fast enough, I can use it to more or less replace our industry tab. Now I want to do something with the science sector in this playthrough that I know is possible. I need the science incubator to do it. Because as we are, and as funding has been cut recently, we are no longer doing science for the sake of benefiting anyone. We are doing science for the sake of A, science, and B, benefiting billionaires, which is a totally different story. So I'm going to speed up the science incubator, and I'm going to put some funding into that, because this is the kind of science we're doing now, and I'm looking for a very specific card. Now, while that's going, we need to mitigate the effects of our industry. There is decarbonization laws, and this is something that's still in effect even with everything that's happened recently. That in some places, industry has to pay attention to their carbon emissions, as well as scrub them or be challenged to be, you know, carbon neutral. I think it's this year. That Amazon intends on being carbon neutral or negative. like that. Now, we're not going to get them to transition from fossils. It's too late for that. But we can tax carbon. Now, it's only going to happen in states like California that have other issues to deal with that are causing runaway inflation. But, for now, it works. Now I have to take a California approach in the people sector, just for the sake of this game not ending too quickly. Ooh. Ooh. Our emissions are slowing down. I'm going to do something that's going to bite me in the foot. We haven't started massive mining yet, even though that's something we've promised. But we're going back to coal power plants. Here we go. This is the one I wanted. So this is the current track we as Americans are on that I've set up in this game so far. Our science sector has a bunch of businesses like Bezos, Elon Musk. They're going into space. They're doing the things that they're doing. Some states have been trying to legislate and encourage practices that are carbon neutral or negative, but it's not always perfect. It's in fact almost barely perfect. There's plenty of initiatives going on to protect our ecosystems, but our industrial sector is not helping. Now this is something that we have done. We do have cleaner fossil coal power plants. We did put research into that. Now, I think I did the wrong one. I think it's local solutions I actually wanted here. But I'm going to research this, because this is the next step, I believe, in our current reality. And there's a very unique ending to this game going down this path. Now, for the sake of decentralized power grid, I would like the decentralized power grid. I gotta get my people sector moving faster, because they're... Ooh. This is quite an event. Each round, lose 2 money. That's not gonna bother me. That's gonna bother me. Science is gonna find a new habitable planet. Aging demographic. This one sucks to deal with, especially since I am low on people as is. Ooh, what's this one? I need to solve this one first, because as you see, it's going to expire, turn into a death card. Now, ooh, we have runaway pollution from this. So we need to solve this ASAP. Come on. Make some babies. What you just saw was a card with a condition. There was a card up there as a condition that expired while I was focusing on something else. But every once in a while, a card will have a condition that will make it destroy a card in a sector, pushing you back a few years. Or a few turns, I guess. I need to solve this at ASAP as well. This is what happens when you let the missions go out of control. You're going to get too caught up in focusing on this to even focus on any of Alright, guys. I might believe that we are a little bit frubbernucked. Okay, I gotta solve this first, because this is the one causing this. Alright. I believe this is GG. Let's see if this helps at all. There's nothing left to do but sit and watch the end of the world. Now I'm going to run through this game 2 more times. I'm going to perfect this route and show you the ending I was going to show you. But also, I'm going to show you what we should be doing.